Hi all, hope you're doing well and having a great Wednesday so far. I wanted to come to you and give you some things to think about as we enter the latter part of our class, Unit 5, which is the very last unit for the class. Um, we've done a lot of work to get up to this point. You've done some good work. I know that you're getting fatigued. I think everybody is right now, including myself. But this last unit is really important. This last unit really kind of serves as a true culmination of everything you've worked on up to this point and everything that we've discussed, all the text that you've read, and bringing together all the different skills that you've been working on and allowing you to display them in a really clear and really useful way in the final assignments for this unit. Before we get to the unit, and I actually am going to show you some things within the unit that you want to keep in mind. I do want to let you know that I have finished grading the unit for discussion board number 2, the critical race theory board. That is graded. You all have feedback for that. I am starting the Unit 4 annotated bibs this evening, and we'll work through those, and then of course work through your essays as I move throughout the weekend. Thank you for your patience. You all have had a lot of things to turn in recently, and I've had a lot of things that I'm trying to get graded as well. But I will get you feedback, meaningful feedback, just like you've been getting all semester, as soon as I possibly can. It'll still be within the week. I can absolutely promise you that. Okay, let's go into the content. So we are, again, in Unit 5, Unit 4 is all wrapped up at this point. So let's go into content and see what we're working with at this point. So Unit 5, this is the final project. I do encourage you very much so to go in and look at the organizer, look at the checklist, because there are several moving parts to this unit. I would say probably more important parts than you've had in other parts of the class that you'll want to keep in mind. So what this unit is really going to have you do is really utilize and think about carefully, really think carefully about what it means to revise and what it means to look at your work that you've written previously in a critical way and making the necessary changes you need to, while also thinking about how you can incorporate literary criticism into it and incorporating secondary sources and things within it. So I encourage you to go through and take a look at everything that's under this particular portion of the class or of the content here. You will note, of course, that there are several assignments you'll have to complete for this last unit. The first one is going to be a discussion. Let's click into this and take a look at it real quick. So what you're going to do for this one, it's pretty simple. For this one, you are going to post the following things. So what you're going to be posting is, and letting all of us know, is which essay you're going to be revising and why you've chosen to focus on that essay or that genre or that particular text. And what's going to come in handy here with helping you decide is you have all the feedback that I've given to you on those essays and of course on the surrounding discussion boards. That's one of the reasons why I give you a lot of feedback, sometimes more feedback than you want. And also what's good is that you have written feedback and video feedback. So take all of that into consideration as you think about which essay you're going to tackle. So you'll write in this discussion post what you're going to be revising and why, the school of literary criticism you're going to employ, which again, we've been working with those particular schools throughout the course of the semester, and of course why you chose it, and then of course think about what your working thesis statement is going to be. And by working thesis statement, I mean is a thesis statement you're using for now at the very beginning of this unit, kind of what you're hoping to achieve with your final paper, with the revision, and with all the other work you're going to do with it. And of course, it says here, even though this thesis may change or still a work in progress, you still want to make sure it's specific and is somewhat developed. Again, it doesn't have to be fully baked. If it's half-baked, that's okay. But I do want to get a sense of where you are at this point and kind of what you're thinking. And by knowing what you're thinking, I can then give you meaningful feedback as well. And of course, also post any discoveries you've made about your topic through your research so far. So that is what you need to include. That can be in paragraph form. I would encourage you to do it in paragraph form. It doesn't have to be a super lengthy thing, but do make sure that you cover everything that's listed here. Do note that there are resources here to help you with this, particularly about thesis statements from these two resources. And of course, make sure, as with other discussion boards, you respond to 2 of your classmates. This is going to be due by the 17th. So that is due here in just a couple of days. It is actually Saturdays when it's due. So you've got some time. I know it doesn't seem like you've got time, but you do have some time to work on this. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. this is a place for you to kind of almost brainstorm and kind of think loosely about what you plan to do. And you can get feedback from your classmates, and I can also, of course, give you feedback as I grade, and we kind of move forward. The next assignment you'll do, which is going to be due on the 21st, that is next Wednesday, so a week from today, is the final check-in. That's where you're going to submit a revised thesis statement and your working bibliography. So what you'll do for this, and this will actually be something you will type up and submit to a Dropbox. If you click here, of course, you'll note that if you go to the assignments and assessments, there is a Dropbox available for this. What you'll do is you'll write your updated thesis statement, and that's going to be updated based on your own insights, what suggestions I give to you, and of course what your classmates give to you from the discussion board. And you'll, again, revise that based on all of that, and then you'll post your updated annotated bibliography with up to 3 academic sources that you plan to use in the essay. You compose them as though they were entries on a works cited page. So make sure that you have basically what you've been doing in these little one source annotated bibliographies in unit 2, 3, and 4 is helping you build and get you to this point. So you'll give me 3 sources. You'll start with the actual MLA entry for the source, then give me the annotation like you've been doing there, the paragraph-ish or so of information about that source. And then you'll do that for a second source, and you'll do that for a third source. So again, it'll be a revised thesis statement and 3 annotations of 3 sources. And keep in mind, they need to be academic sources, meaning they need to be scholarly articles, they need to be scholarly texts. It can't be Spark Notes, Cliff Notes, E-Notes, anything like that. You do want to make sure that what you're using is scholarly in nature. Of course, make sure to upload everything there. And again, if you have any questions about this, let me know. This is going to be due again on the 21st by 11:59. And the very last thing for the unit that is required is, of course, the final revised essay, which is where you bring everything together and produce a solidly written final paper where you revise. Of course, you produce a true revision of one of the papers you've chosen while also incorporating the literary criticism and the 3 sources. The one thing I do want to encourage you to keep in mind, and I'll give you more details about this later, but I do want to mention it here, is that the length requirement for this is going to be different. It's going to be a minimum of 1,000 words and upwards of 1,250. If it's over 1,250, that's fine, but it has to be at least the 1,000 words to hit what it should. Of course, following MLA format. Again, I'll go over more detailed instructions about this, but I just want you to know this is within this last unit as well. This is your culminating assignment, the final assignment. And this is going to be due on the 29th. So that is about 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yes, about 2 weeks from tomorrow. And then the very last thing I wanted to mention to you is there is actually an optional extra credit assignment within content. What I would encourage you to do is I would encourage you to take a look at it. It could be very useful to you to take advantage of this exercise. But what I also would encourage you to do is think about, really what really think about where you are in the class currently and whether or not taking advantage of this will be useful to you or not. There are some instructions here that says it'll add up 10 points to your lowest major grade in the course. What I'm actually going to be doing for this is it's going to be actually up to 5 points, so I'll need to go and revise that. But the assignment's going to be worth up to 5 points on the final essay. And I have it applied there because that final essay counts for a good bit. So, and it is the culminating assignment. So do make sure that that if you want to take advantage of this, do note that this will actually be due on the 30th by 11:59. So that's the day after the final paper. Again, this is not required, but it is an extra credit opportunity should you like to take advantage of it. And of course, there's a Dropbox for you to look at as well. Okay, I think that is everything for this final unit. Again, I'll probably come to you at some point soon with a more detailed video really breaking down that final assignment, but at the very least I wanted to give you kind of a snapshot of the unit and also give you some instructions for the first 2 assignments you're going to tackle. Keep up the good work. Again, you all as a group are doing really well. I'm really impressed with a lot of what I've seen this semester. This is an opportunity for you to, of course, demonstrate to me that what you've learned and show what you've learned in the class. But more importantly, I want you all to be able to produce a work that demonstrates to you and shows you that you've learned some things in this class and that you can apply them as you move forward in future classes, because writing occurs everywhere to some degree. Some majors have less than others, but it's present. Trust me. I've been running a writing center for a long time and teaching for a good long while, and writing's present in pretty much everywhere at a university and within college. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, I will be getting you feedback on your Unit 4 annotated bibs and your essays within the rest of this week and into the weekend. I promise I'll get those back to you with feedback as quickly as I can. All right, if you need anything, please let me know. I'm always available to help. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you're getting rest when you can. Look forward to seeing more great work from you in the weeks to come. Thanks.